Hi everyone in English 1301, it's Dr. E and I'm here with your week 7 instructional video. So we are into spooky season, as you can see, and I am dressed up, which may or may not happen every week this month. We'll see. So I wanted to welcome you to week 7. We're almost at the halfway point of the semester, which is wonderful. Y'all are just killing it so far, so let's keep it up. I'm going to jump right to our weekly assignments in D2L, so follow with me. In the content area for the week 7 module, you'll see that we have 2 chapters in our text to read. So one is on quoting, paraphrasing, and summarizing, and the other is on giving credit and avoiding plagiarism. Now, these are really important chapters, and they're pretty straightforward. I always appreciate how Lunsford and the other editors are putting together information in a way that's just very approachable, because sometimes academic writing can be really overwhelming, and so having some sort of structure in our mind and some sort of instructions on how to do research and how to do research ethically can be very helpful, and these chapters do that. So they ensure that we understand how to read our sources, to summarize, but also avoid plagiarism, and to give credit where credit is due, which is such a big part of academic writing. So we really need to get to a point where we're comfortable with that. So make sure that you're taking some time to really invest in that reading. All right, so you're watching what will be the instructional video, right? We do have a discussion post. Originally in our schedule, we had a mind map, but I wanted to switch that and do something a little bit more creative. Even though I love the mind maps because it gives us this nice visual, we're working with visuals in another way this week. So we'll work on that. Then the participation quiz. So nothing outlandish this week in terms of assignments, but the discussion post will be a little bit different. So I'm just going to jump down so we can go through that together. So for this week's post, I want us to think about how we can utilize technology to create an image related to our writing. So your goal is to go back to that first food journal, right? The one where we talked about comfort food is the very first one, which you still can have access to through D2L if you don't have it saved somewhere. Hopefully you do. You should have 2 or 3 paragraphs that explain the meal. The prompt is here at the bottom if you need to review that or revisit that. Including a definition, like what is the meal? Because not everybody is going to understand specifically what you mean if you say, you know, my favorite comfort meal is spaghetti bolognese, you know, or whatever it may be. Not everybody has that familiarity, so you want to kind of offer a definition of that and what its significance is to you. Okay, we want to take the details that we've included in our writing and essentially plug them into an AI generator, and that will produce an image. Okay, so we want to think about the description that we've offered, the detail that we've offered. Does the image produced match what you have visualized in your mind for this comfort meal, right? What is correct about the image or what is lacking, right? So we want to critically approach it and dissect it in terms of, you know, is this accurate? What does it need? How can we make the image more accurate? So to do this, it's going to require that you have the prompt completed. So if you weren't able to submit the work originally, you need to do so now, right? And it also may require a few updates and revisions, right? So we're going back with our own critical lens and time away with fresh eyes, looking at our work again. Remember, part of our original goal was to explain the meal for any readers who don't have a clue about the food, meal, etc. Okay, so go back to that. So here are the steps, right? Go back to that entry and revise it. Pick an AI image generator. There's several free options, so I've put some links here. Note that for image generators, you likely have to set up some sort of account. So if you already have an account with ChatGPT or something, just use whatever's available. Google has Gemini, so there are a lot of different options, but even for the free options, you have to set up an account. So use your My Lone Star email and, you know, pick some sort of password to set it up. Now, I understand that there may be some ethical concerns about AI in general. Of course, in a writing class, AI is a big hot topic, right? Because ChatGPT and other generative AI options can do a lot of writing, even though that writing is not always very great. It's not ever great in my mind, and it's not descriptive, it's not personal, it's not all the things that we want to work on in our writing. And also part of the focus in this class is the process of writing, not the final product, right? I'm never trying to nitpick your actual writing. I'm looking at your ideas, right? And how you've communicated those and how effectively you've communicated those. Anyhow, but AI comes with some ethical concerns, not only about ownership of our own ideas. If we input our writing into an AI generator, then that can be used but in some means later. So if you have that concern, or if your concern is something environmentally based, it takes a lot of energy and a lot of water and a lot of there are various steps to generating text, right? And even more with an image. So if you have concerns on that level, then I completely get it. And your alternative for this assignment is just to create an image using something like Adobe Acrobat, or use Canva, but create an image from the different graphics that they have and you put together. So you are certainly, more than welcome to do that. Just let us know that that's your choice moving forward. And you don't have to explain why. You don't have to explain why you have chosen that route. Okay. So you're going to copy and paste your two to three paragraphs into the image generator if you're using it. And I want you to make sure you're patient. This is a process. Creating an image takes time for these generators. So you may have to walk away and then come back to it, and that's okay. You're going to tell your audience which generator you used, right? Or if you create your own, that, I used Canva to make this image, right? Once the image has been produced, you're going to copy and paste your 2 to 3 paragraphs into the discussion board, so we have an idea of this is the information I put in, and you're going to share the image as well. You're going to copy and paste both, right? And I've given you an example. I've posted my own example so you can take a look at that. Finally, underneath the image that you share, you're going to write a paragraph that identifies how the image either aligns with the image in your mind, of what that comfort meal is, or how it differs. What details could you add to both help the image be more clear and to help your audience really get a sense of your comfort meal? So this is where we get into our writing, right? So can we update and tweak our writing a little bit to offer more description, or do we need to pare it down in some sort of way? Because maybe we're feeding too much information into the generator and it just can't make enough decisions, so it spits out something that's completely wonky, right? So we have to find that balance, right, with our writing. Okay, here's the original prompt. Here is a rubric that will help, in terms of if you are concerned about your grades. So what I'm going to do is I use ChatGPT just because I have an account with ChatGPT. And I put in all my information, and I put at the beginning, create a pop art image. And so you can make your image a little bit more personalized. You can say, create a cartoon, or create a realistic picture, or, create a comic. You can do whatever you want, whatever comes to your mind that you would like to explore with your imagination, along with the 2 to 3 paragraphs you have about your comfort meal, right? And then this is the image that it generates. So you can see it's pop art because it's really flashy. It has, the thought bubble. It has the reds and yellows. That's really kind of pop art. It's not super realistic, right? But that's what I asked for. So in terms of copying and pasting, you could just come up here if you're using ChatGPT, and all the other generators are very similar. It may not look exactly like this, but it's very similar. Click the copy button, and then you can go into your discussion and paste it. So I'm going to show you mine. So these are the paragraphs that I put in. And then if I go back to ChatGPT, I can also click the copy button down here. And then in the discussion post, I just right-clicked and put paste. And it's really nice to have the image right there, rather than an uploaded file or image. It's nice to have it right there so that your audience can easily see it. They don't have to open anything. It's right there for them to reflect on along with what you've written. And so here is my response, just kind of noting that it's a pretty basic example. It's a basic example of, a bagel with honey and butter, which is what I wrote about as kind of a comfort meal. I think I could offer more specifics in my paragraph about how toasty brown I need the bagel, that kind of thing. So I showed what I input, those paragraphs, I show the image, and now I'm critically thinking about the image and what I can do to my writing to offer more description or to adjust the visual that I've gotten, right? So we're kind of, going on multi-layers here with our work this week. Okay? All right, so that's what we're doing for our discussion. And then of course we have our weekly quiz, which is kind of a culmination of everything we've read this week. Additionally, you will be asked, because if you haven't noticed, I am dressed up because, we're into our spooky season. So I am dressed up as Rosie the Riveter, if that is not clear. So this is Rosie the Riveter. So she is the wartime icon for women who went into the factories and the workplaces to do all of that kind of factory work. So Rosie the Riveter. All right. If you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to me and let me know. Of course, we have the Q&A discussion post. We also have WebEx meeting hours if you'd like to have a discussion, which I'm totally open to. I have been with not only your class, but with my literature class, I've been so impressed this semester with the focus and dedication of so many students. Like, it has been just kind of a balm for me. It's been something that's just, it doesn't happen all the time that everything all the classes are kind of cohesive and self-directed. And when you need my help, you reach out and you ask for it, which I truly appreciate, because in past semesters, I feel like there have been so many students who were hesitant to reach out or hesitant to ask questions in the Q&A discussion board. And that I don't want it to be that way. I want this to be a space where you feel very confident and comfortable posting your questions or reaching out to me directly or reaching out to one another in that student chat, right? The student lounge. So I just wanted to thank you and let you know that I appreciate you. So hang in there and let me know what you need to be successful this week.